Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wallop Records. It's Rylan Turner, joined, as always, by Kyle Joseph. Kyle, you're the bad guy. You're the bad guy.
We'll get to that later.
I wasn't going to go that far, but like we did not announce prior to this episode what we were choosing because it's been a minute since me and Kyle have had a proper Wallop Records to work through. And the last Wallop Records proper, actually, Vince guest hosted and listened to Kyle's record for him, which I'm going to get you back for one day, Kyle. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear that record whether you want to or not. You made Vince listen to Hosier or Hosier.
Yeah, I did.
And I believe he described that as something gospel. Emo gospel is what he thought that sounded like.
That's not a bad description of it, honestly. And it's like, what's weird about it is it always amuses me when Europeans make Americana music. That's always something that's fascinated me. And Hosier's original album is like very much like gospel Americana through the lens of an Irish person, and it is entertaining listen as a result.
Yes, but that is not the album we are reviewing today. Kyle has we're going back to, like I said, to the original format where I choose an album for Kyle chooses an album for me. So today on Wallop Records, it is Audioslave versus Home Free. And Home Free is a country a cappella group.
That is correct.
And everybody knows who Audioslave is. So if you're listening to this show and you have been and you follow the show and you don't know who Audioslave is, we're either going to convince you or Kyle's going to tell you not to listen to it by the end of the show. We will find out. But we are going to start with Home Free because
okay.
I don't know
Let me give you some background on this. I'll explain to you why I even know that this band exists. Okay.
Perfect. I can do that for audio.
In December of 2013, I was living in Brandon at the time. This is a year I spent in the small town of Brandon, Manitoba. Was working there. And there was a show that was on. This was the 4th season of the show. This was in the peak of the singing competition show, which is was a staple of the 2000s, especially the 2010s. I think it peaked at that point.
Yeah.
And as opposed to most singing competition shows where it is single individuals who are singing, this one was a group a cappella singing competition show. The show peaked in its 3rd season. Its 3rd season was the season before, produced the a cappella group Pentatonics, who have gone on to become a massive enterprise unto themselves. Actually released a record that went platinum, which for an a cappella group is, an impossibility. Yet it carried on. It was on NBC, network television, a cappella singing competition show. The hosts of it were Sean Stockman of Boyz II Men, which makes sense given the host of the show, I should say, was Nick Lachey. He is of 98 Degrees fame, for those who have any boy band memory.
Everybody remembers that Jessica and Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey show, but
yes.
I don't even remember what it's called, actually. I shouldn't say that.
Me neither. Sean Stockman of Boyz II Men, Ben Folds, who has had a very long sort of, I don't know how to describe Ben Folds. Punk rock through the lens of a singer-songwriter.
Okay, sure.
We might have to do Ben Folds at some point on the show. And then for the first time, Jewel was the other judge of the show. And so they got together a group of a cappella groups, a collection of a cappella groups, and had them compete against each other. And the winner of that got a record contract. And the winner of this competition was Home Free. They're a country a cappella group from Minneapolis. They had been going for quite a while before this. So this was actually their 6th record. But this was the first one that was actually like made on a proper label.
Okay.
So they got a contract through Columbia Records. They released this record. It actually made the top 10 on the country charts for records. Was number 40 in the Billboard 200. So like not amazing, but
country
like,
chart. That's
yeah.
I want you to know Steven Tyler has a country record, and he won the CMT award for it. And I want you to think about that before we do this. I'm just kidding, Kyle. Go ahead.
Well, and so this is the thing. Country is something that I dip in and out of. Acapella is something I've sort of always been into. Long-time listeners of this might actually know I was a part of an acapella group with my siblings. So I have some rooting.
Hold on. You guys have broken up?
No, it's like we were never really like, we didn't record anything or whatever. Like we did it for fun. We actually got to do some recording because my youngest brother has a recording studio in his basement, and so we recorded a Christmas album for my mom as a birthday gift for her. So that was a lot of fun. It actually went really well, the recording, so that was cool.
Fair.
But anyway, I've always had a fascination with acapella music, and then when I heard this particular group, they really struck a chord. They're an excellent acapella group, and they released a record, and this is the first one they released, called Crazy Life. The first one they released on Columbia Records after they won this competition.
Sure.
They never blew up as like a major group, but they were always they were tour a lot. Being country, you always have to kind of tour small towns. They came through Winnipeg a few times. I never did get to see them when they came here. They're still around.
Is it all like drugs and like broken up now, or what?
No. They're still around.
What's the life of an acapella group on the road?
They change they've changed a few members just because some people decide not to keep going with it. But they did a few records together in this collection. The group is Austin Brown, who was the most recent introduction. He is their lead tenor. Has a beautiful voice. And Rob Lundquist is their second tenor. Tim Faust, who you'll probably hear the most over the course of this, is their bass. And good Lord, does he have an impressive bass voice. And then Chase Rupp was their baritone, and Adam Rupp is their brothers, was the beatboxer on this for this group. So this was a cappella, but with a little bit of production kicked into it, and a mix of originals and covers.
Yes. And that's what I noted going in as I saw the track. So what I do with Kyle, for the most part, is Kyle gives me and like there's been a few, like he gave me a Sheepdogs record that I knew some songs off of already, so I didn't have to do so much research. But what I do is I do zero research before I listen to the album for the first time. And usually with the albums that Kyle gives me, I do go through them a few times. Like I literally just turned it off for the 4th time. And it's made my opinion stronger. We're gonna start here, Kyle. Home Free, Crazy Life. The first track, Any Way the Wind Blows. Actually, a good song. I enjoyed this quite a bit, and this gave me a lot of hope in the beginning. That moment will pass, but really good arrangement. It's fun. Like I said, that moment will pass. It doesn't pass yet though, because Your Man was probably my favorite. Oh, sorry, Kyle, go ahead about Any Way the Wind Blows.
Any Way the Wind Blows is, like, in terms of like pure song in this, it's one of their 5 originals, and it is probably the best of them top to bottom. Just a really fun, really happy, like romantic. Really good song. And you get to hear different parts of the group. Tim Faust is most of the lead, do it with his bass, and then Austin Brown takes it over with God. He has got the vocals that he brings to it towards the end is just really, really impressive, where he's sort of wailing on top of it. But yeah, I quite love this song.
Your Man. I believe this is Chris Stapleton's song. Am I
This is Josh Turner.
okay.
You are correct. Chris Stapleton wrote it. Josh Turner did the most famous rendition of it, but Chris Stapleton did write the song. You are correct.
Okay, so I loved this. This was my favorite song on the record. This was so beautiful. Like this Kyle, like this got me in the mood.
This is one of my go-to songs at karaoke. Actually, I quite love this one.
I love. God, we got to do karaoke together sometime. You'll hate it, but it'll be great.
Put the lights down low. Put some music on that's soft and slow. You got to bring that bass, and good Lord, does Tim Faust bring the bass?
He absolutely does. Yeah, I really, really loved this song. And again, my hopes are like, I'm like, wow, Kyle, you've discovered something that I really love. And then we got to Everything Will Be Okay, which was okay, but I mean, do you have any more to say about Your Man?
No. It's just like, okay. I quite love it. It is a very good bass song, and like a nice romantic slow jam type of thing, which I dig.
So Everything Will Be Okay started with a lot of positivity, but by the end of it, Hallmark movie background music.
Yes. It's for better or worse.
Bordering on Disney.
Worse, this song is definitely that.
Hold on. ChatGPT said for me, it's sincere, it's positive, it's aggressively wholesome. Listening to it feels like being handed a mug that says "Live you" while someone gently pats you on the shoulder.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong.
It's not an inaccurate description, but like it is. It is. It's an interesting one, but it's one of the Tim Faust's original compositions. He has 3 on this, their bassist, and this is probably the best, again, most complete song of the 3, but it's I like it. I enjoy it. It is very wholesome.
So jump right in. Me and Kyle discussed, I believe, last month that we both of us enjoyed the Zach Brown Band.
Yes.
And are big fans. I really did not like this. This to me just did not hit at all. It sounded like, don't get me wrong. Like I knew obviously you've got a cappella versus a band, so the sound is going to be different. But I just could not get into this. It had all the ingredients and the song and like the band that it could be fun. Yeah, ChatGPT says it feels like a corporate team building exercise.
Do you like the original?
I would have to listen to it again, but I did. There was a period of time in my life in my early to mid 20s where the Zach Brown Band was a big band for me. And sorry, go ahead.
Here's what I'll say about Jump Right In, because again, this is part of a lull in this record that I think comes in. This song, Jump Right In, it's an interesting song, and I don't dislike it, but it is co-written by 3 writers. Among them are Zach Brown and another collaborator of Zach Brown's. And the 3rd writer is Jason Mraz. And this one,
notice that, yes.
That is what I will say about it, is it does sound like a Jason Mraz song, for better or for worse.
Sure. For worse. It's definitely for worse. I'm sorry, Kyle. Again, I don't want to be super negative because like you have given me a lot of great music, but this is just not one I'll ever go back to. Jump Right In is followed by I've Seen. This song is earnest, extremely earnest, painfully earnest. That was what I wrote down and gave to Chat GPT. And it followed it up with the vocals are strong. The song itself is so serious and inspirational. It starts to feel like it should be playing during a montage about rebuilding a community center.
Yeah. So I will say this, and this is where, again, for every record that I love, there's always at least a couple songs that I will not go and re-listen to. I've Seen is probably the one that I've listened to the least because I do not like I don't dislike it per se, because again, all of it is fine. It's just it does nothing for me. It is too plodding, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Wake Me Up. This is an Avicii?
Yes, this is an Avicii.
This is an Avicii song. I knew this one right off the hop. I did not like this original. So like they were gonna have a hard time selling me on the acapella version. There was a period of time, Kyle, and I guess it was right around 2010 to 2014, 2015.
Yep.
Where pop music for me just sounded so just washed and dried and corporate. And this guy, I guess he's passed since.
Yes, he did.
And that's, I don't know if that's a sad thing or I don't know if he was a bad guy or a good guy.
He was too young for us to be able to know. I think that's the thing. It's like he was that was the thing about Avicii passing that was so surprising, was like he was, I think 28, like very, very young. Yeah. So it's hard to tell.
That being said,
with him, but yeah.
I'm not. There was a period of time where pop music just did nothing for me, with the exception of like a Bruno Mars or a Lady Gaga. People striving to be different and also hella talented. This just did nothing for me. So like I got nothing for this one. Let's see. ChatGPT, on paper, an a cappella version of Avicii sounds like a cool idea. In reality, it mostly makes you miss Avicii.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
like not going to be as harsh as my next review, but go ahead.
I like this song. This is the first one they recorded after they won their competition show. And hearing them do it, it's probably the least produced song on the record, which I kind of dig. But yeah, I really like their arrangement of this. And it is interesting because the original has this kind of country element to it. Because I can't remember who Avicii got to sing on Wake Me Up. But it was like, it had that kind of vibe to it. But then it goes into this sort of this like poppy electronic piece, which they kind of try to do a cappella. That part doesn't quite get to that same place, but I do love the arrangement of this. So this one was a win for me, but I can understand why it might have been a miss for you.
Well, let me tell you about Mrs. Kyle.
Oh boy.
Listen, you don't fucking cover Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash covers you. I'm looking at you, Trent Reznor. I'm looking at you, Soundgarden. I'm looking at you, Depeche Mode. Okay. Listen, look, I've heard this cover done fine plenty of times. Listen, I love you to pieces, but I fucking hated this so much. It was too upbeat for the person that they were covering.
This one requires background.
Sure. Okay.
Because I totally agree with you. Like, I love this. I do enjoy this cover, but it is a weird choice. So only two of the songs that they did a number, because the competition lasted for a few weeks. that they were in this, and they did a bunch of songs over the course of it. Their opening song was "Cruise" by Florida Georgia Line, which they did a really good job of. But it was mostly country songs. They did "Life Is a Highway." They did "Oh Pretty Woman" by Roy Orbison, which is not a country song, but it's like kind of country vibed. They did this cover of Ring of Fire during a week in the show called My Generation, where Austin Brown described it as, well, this song isn't really from our generation, but it feels like it was from our generation. As the story goes, they originally had planned to do the song on the show very straight-laced, like it was a very whatever cover, and they were trying to experiment with things to try to make it more interesting. And one of the producers of the show suggested that Adam do a like reggae house beat type of thing in the backing of it, and so they basically turned Ring of Fire into a reggae song, which was
agreed.
Which was a weird choice, but what everyone remembers, that it sort of became part of their it was their big, like, probably the song that won them the competition. The big thing that everyone remembered from it was the fact that Tim Faust hits that final note at the end of it, which is, I don't remember exactly what the note is in musical notation, but really, really freaking low. So when they did this on the record, what they did was they invited the bass singer for Pentatonix at the time, Avi Kaplan.
Okay, so that's, I was going to say, I don't know who that guy is, but
yes, it was the two of them who sang it because they basically just decided to get another bass singer on it. This one is going to be like, of all the songs on this thing, I think this is the most quote unquote controversial because it's a reggae. It's a reggae cover of Ring of Fire. I have an attachment to it because on the show it was really good, but I do understand. Like, I would rather listen to the show version of it than this one, and I do understand where you're coming from for this.
Okay, ChatGPT said this should be amazing. You've got Home Free. You've got Avi Kaplan. You've got Ring of Fire. Instead, it feels weirdly restrained. Everyone sounds great individually, but the arrangement never really explodes the way you want it to, which is exactly how I felt throughout this entire song. Is this song's got a, like, boom, and it just never got there. It's like watching two heavyweight boxers politely shadow box.
Fair enough. Yeah, I still get enjoyment of it, but it is one of the songs that I don't always revisit because it is a little bit
odd. Okay, here we go. Hunter Hayes melody.
Do you know who Hunter Hayes is?
Is he not a member of this group?
No.
Okay, so tell me who this guy is.
Hunter Hayes is a country singer. Obviously, who, bear in mind, this record came out in 2014.
Okay.
Hunter, so that was, 12 years ago. I don't even want to think about that.
We're going back even further for mine. So,
I know, but I'm saying, like, 2014 being 12 years ago kind of hurts my soul a little bit.
Yeah.
Hunter Hayes today is 34 years old. So when that record came out, he was 22. In 2011, Hunter Hayes, who at the time would have been, 20? Yes, 20. Released his debut album. And it was a pretty huge success. I don't think he ever reached that level of success again. But I Want Crazy. And then, by the way, we get another bit of Jason Mraz. Because there's got to be more Jason Mraz. The middle song, or one of the songs in the group, The three they do are I Want Crazy, Wanted, and Everybody's Got Somebody But Me. Everybody's Got Somebody But Me is a duet that Hunter Hayes sings with Jason Mraz on his record. And then the other two are solo ones. He sold a lot of records in his first couple as a very young person. I don't know that he ever recaptured that level of success again. Actually, and looking at his album sales, I am positive he did not. But
melodies are always risky. Sometimes they're exciting. Sometimes sometimes I feel like you've hit shuffle for 4 minutes.
What were your thoughts on this, by the way?
I'm leaning more towards the shuffle. It was fine. It was fine, but it was 4 minutes and 18 seconds of fine. And that's I guess honestly, like, I can't really say anything because like that's the longest song on the track and it wasn't ultimately all that long. So I didn't overstay its welcome in that sense.
I do. Yeah, so the thing was, I Want Crazy was their last song on the show. Okay. And I do wish they had just done that one, to be honest with you, rather than a medley. I think that would have been a better choice on the record. But
sure,
the medley is what it is. If you're a fan of Hunter Hayes, and I did like that first record of Hunter Hayes's, it probably hits those right notes. But yeah, it is what it is.
A little bit of everything, which is originally done by Keith Urban, who yes, I don't enjoy at all. So
that is fair.
Just nope. There's nothing for me on this one. Listen, what do we got here? At this point, this album starts making sense because it genuinely feels like they threw every genre idea they had into a blender. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I don't know if I agree with that, but like,
I think a little bit of everything to me is like the most mid song on this album. It's kind of just there. I don't like the original. So then this covered is not, it's pretty faithful. So it is not one that I revisit a lot, but it's technically fine.
Right. Champagne taste on a beer budget.
If there was a single, by the way, if there was a single reason why I wanted you to listen to this record, it is this song. Not because it's my favorite, because I was interested in hearing your thoughts on it.
I liked this song a lot, actually. You will come to find that the first two songs and the last two songs of this record, I liked a lot. But yeah, no, I thought this was great. Let's see here. What do we again, it was fun, playful. The bass, great. The humor is good. I don't know, like it. I felt like so I will say, like when I heard this song, I was like, this belongs in the middle of the record. The middle of the record, because it kind of gives you that like wake up feeling.
I wish it had been put there. I get why they put it towards the end. Is it like this is the penultimate song because this is like everything on this record is incredibly earnest and down the middle, and then this is just really weird and out there. But this was a song that Tim Faust had in his back pocket. And wanted to put on this record. And so they sort of threw it in there. But to me, it's one of my favorites on it. It is very silly. Also, on their Christmas album that they do immediately after this, Full of Cheer, they release that song is also written by, or the titular song is written by Tim Faust. And it is in response to this, which is basically his woman left him. And now he's really happy because he's going to save so much money at Christmas time. So, yeah, the follow-up to it is also very enjoyable. I like the song. It's very silly, but it is enjoyable.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And the closing song on the record, the first song you sent me because you wanted me to see the music video, a song called Crazy Life. Is this in the Lego movie or did they just do this?
No. They just did the music video just because.
Could have been in the Lego movie. Could have definitely been in the Lego movie. I enjoyed this a lot. This was super fun. It's like when I first texted you and I said, this is the strangest album you have picked for me. And I don't know if I stand by that statement because like number one, we have more albums to come. So like we don't know that yet.
I can dip into some weird in the future.
Well, you are going to have to pick one at the end of this episode because we have to get back into doing this the right way. I really loved Crazy Life though. It was definitely my second favorite track on the album, back next to Your Man, and just super fun. Like it felt like it could have been in the Lego Movie, and I love the Lego Movie, so like that's high praise for me. Kyle, let's round this album out with your opinion.
This is probably my favorite song on the album. It is so enjoyable. The Lego, if you want to do anything, go out and seek out the music video of this because they made custom Lego characters of themselves to record a music video in Lego, and it was a lot of fun. And I enjoyed it a great deal. It's a really nice. Again, it definitely errs on the earnest side, but the
whole fucking album airs on that side, Kyle. Like,
a champagne based on a taste on a beer budget is earnest in a different way. It is honest rather than earnest.
That's fair. Man, like Kyle, like again, I there were parts of this that I really liked, but like this is a 2.5 for me, and only a 2.5 because I like the first two songs and the last two songs, and everything else was there. I really fucking hated that Ring of Fire cover. That's gonna stay with me. That's gonna stay with me for a long time.
I thought you might dislike that, but I did want to do the record anyway because I wanted to share something a cappella.
Hey. Don't ever feel like you can't. Like, my God, I'll listen to whatever you give me.
But the big thing about a cappella to me is it's hard to find a cappella music or a cappella records that aren't just a lot of covers. And this one was also quite a few covers. And I think they do a good, Home Free does a good mix of covers and originals, which is kind of one of the big reasons why I like listening to them. I've probably listened top to bottom to every record they released since this one. So I enjoy it. I enjoy them. Check them out if you haven't. They do a lot of music videos. Basically all of their records, they do music videos for pretty much everything. If you want a fun cover by theirs, they did an April Fool's cover doing Never Gonna Give You Up by
Rick Astley.
Who,
by the way, that guy is way more rock and roll than anyone ever gives credit to. That guy's great. Okay.
Yes. Rick Astley's the best.
But he's just a cool. I would hang out with that guy in a heartbeat.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. Anyway, Kyle, we have something now completely different.
Oh, it's so different.
I hope that out of the 14 tracks and the 65 minutes that I put you through this record, that you found some like greatness out of this, or at least understood it to a different degree that maybe you didn't going into it, but we will find out. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about the self-titled album of Audioslave. Kyle, lead us through this.
Well, first, introduce the audience who doesn't know Audioslave very quickly to what Audioslave is about.
Okay, so Audioslave is it a super group, or is it just a group that found a new singer?
So basically my understanding is that
it's Rage Against the Machine without Zach De La Rocca.
Rage Against the Machine broke up, and Chris Cornell was looking for something to do, and
as Soundgarden had also broke up.
Yes.
And you could feel Soundgarden broke up on this record lyrically. You could feel, and also like just I think you could feel Chris Cornell sort of coming out of his shell. As we said, like, so it's Soundgarden in Audioslave put together in a sense of it's the lead singer of Soundgarden and it's the lead singer of Soundgarden and the Rage Against the Machine musicians.
Yes.
And they created a group in 2002 called Audioslave, put out this debut record. And in my opinion, some of the songs on this record stand the test of time to the greatest rock songs of the last 25 years. I for a long time, I did not like Audioslave. The first introduction I had to Audioslave was the second album. And I rejected the idea that this band that I liked in Soundgarden they broke up and this guy just went and played around with these other rock stars. I don't know
Which-
why I rejected that idea at the time.
I do think Out of Exile, which is the second record, is probably the most well-regarded record, or at least it
Yes,
wasn't.
I would say.
Yes.
And since then, I have come around on that album completely. We will talk about that at a much later date. I won't make you do that too soon. But like, needless to say, Kyle, the debut record of Audioslave, this new start for Chris Cornell, this new start for Tom Morello, Tom Wilkins, and Brad Whitford. Let's talk about it. Opening track, Cochise.
So, where do I begin with this? So usually I go track by track, and I am going to go track by track, but I do want to start by saying I was listening to this record, and this song in particular I listened to a few times, just trying to get a sense of what I was getting into. And this is the lead single, if I'm not mistaken, as well as the first song. Yeah. So this is like probably the biggest thing to come from this.
No, not true. Not true. We'll get there.
Okay. How do I get into this? I was listening to this record, and I've listened to some Soundgarden. I have not listened to a lot of Rage Against the Machine. So I don't know.
But
yeah, I'm sure. Believe me, Matt has been waiting for me to listen to Rage Against the Machine for a long time. So I'm sure.
And we are in the perfect political climate for it.
Yeah. And this is no disrespect to Rage Against the Machine. It's not that I don't agree with their political message, at least in some facets. It's more that it's just not my style of music.
That's fair.
It's not my genre. And this is one of the hardest records I've had to review. Not because it was bad, but because I found this record to be, as on the whole, technically extremely proficient and also mildly frustrating.
Okay, that is better, minus the last episode we did for Valentine's Day, than we've ever had it on this show, Kyle. So talk to me about this song.
Okay, so Cochise, I believe, is that the pronunciation?
I believe so.
Because it doesn't come up in the. Now, let me be clear about something also off the rip. I don't know how good or bad the lyrics are in this record, because I can understand the first thing that Chris Cornell was saying for most of this, especially when he was yelling. No, unless he was yelling the title, I have no idea what he was saying. Anyway, we'll get into it. Cochise, I said, is technically excellent as a hard rock song, and it is very well produced, which is a thing I'll say. Rick Rubin is the producer on this. I don't usually shout out producers on.
Rick Rubin's a legend, man. We're going to talk a lot about.
Yeah. Rick Rubin, the reviews of this record are mixed. Some people really love it, and some people call this like corporate rock. And basically that whole thing comes down to your taste in Rick Rubin.
Sure. But I mean, like, looking at the characters in the band, anyone calling it that, I feel like, was looking to have a problem with it.
I guess.
But sure.
But here's what else. But here's what I'll say about this song, because this one to me epitomized a lot of the stuff on the record. I said it's very well produced and it was very technically good, but it didn't connect to me like really in any way. What I described as is, for better or worse, this sounds like a WWE pay-per-view song.
I mean, it might have been. I can't. This was the era.
It was
definitely the era.
Fun fact: I did look it up. It wasn't a pay-per-view song, but this song was on the WWE 2K16 soundtrack.
Perfect. That's great for them. Better than the soundtrack we're about to get. I'll quickly go through. Massive explosive opener. Tom Morello immediately reminds you who he is as one of the greatest guitar players to ever live. The intro drum build into the riff is iconic. Chris Cornell comes out full throttle. Lyrically, it's defiance, it's independence, and not being owned. I think also it's like at this point, Chris Cornell and Rage Against the Machine are dealing with the music media as well, because bands break up, and at this time there's more chatter about those kinds of things than we get, I think, in this day and age, because nobody really cares about bands breaking up anymore, and we're all concerned about the fucking rest of the crazy bullshit that we have to live through. But I mean, having to deal with all that, it just kind of felt like a middle finger to maybe past band members, maybe the media covering the breakups and whatever. It felt like, this is my new thing and this is what I'm here to do. And honestly, like, while you may not have understood it or got it, it felt like a kick in the door of like, hey, I'm still here, I'm still doing my thing, and I feel like you could feel that in the song, at least.
I think that's fair. Show Me How to Live. I said that there's not much to this song, but it is perfectly adequate. Not a bad song, but it never quite got to me. I will say, it does also have that same, I said basically this one has the same WWE pay-per-view vibe to it, which is like a very like down the middle rock song. The other thing about it is the instrumental breakdown, and this is going to be a recurring theme for me. Some of these breakdowns do not work for me at all. And this was the first one that was like, I don't know why this is like
it's Tom Morello is the guy who either you understand guitar wise or either it's like, oh, I don't know what to do with this guy.
Which is like a lot of the stuff. I think the big thing for me was that most of the experimental ish guitar sounds didn't click for me. Like, it felt like a lot of it felt like it was happening for the sake of it happening rather than it contributing to the song. Does that make sense?
Not really to me, but like,
no, sure. Like, I'm saying, like, does that make sense as a point? I don't know.
Sure, it makes sense as a point. No, I don't, but I it makes sense as a point, and especially like I do understand you coming into this not knowing this band and not knowing like their catalog and whatnot. It and also knowing at least some of your music taste over the last few months, I could understand how you'd be like, what do we got here? What is this? For me, one of the strongest singles, the descending riff is. ChatGPT described it as filthy. That is not how I described it, but I would agree. Chris Cornell sounds desperate and spiritual at the same time. Lyrics feel almost biblical in tone. It's tight and punchy, classic early 2000s radio rock. But it does definitely feel like early 2000s radio rock, but like better than that. Like, hey, these guys are on a different level. Yeah. Anyway, moving on, Kyle. Gasoline.
God, I'm going to sound like a broken record over the course of this. Guitar effects are cool, but I don't know if there was necessarily a point to them. The chorus didn't inspire me. I think it's a lot. I think a lot of these choruses I said were a bit clunky. The guitar solo didn't really work for me. It's not that I disliked this song. I sound very negative. I liked a lot of it, but some of the experimenting and the like vibe checks on some of it just didn't quite connect with me. So yeah, Gasoline was kind of, I enjoyed parts of it, but this was but there were parts of it that missed for me. So it was a hit and miss song.
This is the most Rage Against the Machine song on the record. Just the tone of it.
I love my chances of enjoying Rage Against the Machine.
I think lyrically you are gonna love Rage Against the Machine. But that being said,
will I be able to understand the lyrics?
Well, it's rap. That's the difference. Zach is a rapper and Chris is a rock singer. So yes. Like, there's going to be a lot of difference there. I mean, he does scream. Don't get me wrong. Yes. But like, we'll get there. We'll get there. I love the vocals because they're like almost unhinged, and The big question going into this record, from what I've read, was can Chris Cornell still do what he did in Soundgarden to that level? Because a lot of people think that the band, or at least at the time, thought that the band broke up because he lost his voice. And I think on this record, it proves that like he has not lost anything. Like he was still quite capable of hitting notes and hitting, like, for him, what he should sound like. It's an underrated live track is what I've heard or read. All right, Kyle, next track.
God, where do I even go from here? So next song on the record. So I just wanted to make a point later, but the next song on the record is What You Are.
Yeah.
And this was the most, like, you said that last one was the most Rage
Against the Machine.
This one probably was the most Soundgarden one. The grunge is strong in this. I don't know if that's quite true, but the grunge is definitely strong in this particular song. At least in the like early riff of it. At least it sounds like a grunge song. I wouldn't say it sings like a grunge song, but it sounds like a grunge song. The guitar solo was a miss for me. That's a recurring theme. It was good, but it didn't. I think it's probably the one I like the most to this point. But my feelings had not to this point changed much song to song. Some of it was good, some of it felt a little bit overproduced, and some of it was a bit too out there for me, which is a weird combination, but that was where my ear was at this point.
Fair enough. This is one of my favorite tracks on the album. I didn't actually know it was a single. It's groovier than most of them. You can definitely understand what he's saying in this song until at least the chorus, I guess, if you're not used to this style of music. But even then, I feel like he doesn't go too crazy. Not like he does in a couple of songs from now anyway. But anyway, it's a song that I didn't immediately know on this record. And then I gave the record a listen and I picked up a few more songs that I'm like, oh, this is, Now I'm free from what you want. Now I'm free from what you need. The chorus. Again, I think it probably leaning into, the band breakup, but also like this is years removed from the band breakup. I do know that he was also going through a divorce at this time. So probably a lot of emotions mixed up in this one, but like, I enjoy it. I enjoy it for what it is.
All right. Then we get to Like a Stone. And I love this.
Careful with this. Perfect. Okay.
Like,
stay careful.
I think for me, for a lot of the stuff to resonate more, and this isn't a something I would say for me on like as a whole through music, but in this particular genre of music, I think it like slower songs just resonate more with me. And Like a Stone, like the guitar experimentation works a lot more when there's not a lot, like so much other stuff going on. The singing for me connects more. Because again, I want to be clear about this. When I've said some things with regards to Chris Cornell singing. Let me be very clear. This is not like past records. This is not a July talk situation. Chris Cornell.
You as I'm wearing this one. Fuck you as I took my son to go see them the other day. And I met the singer and he was a lovely man.
I'm sure he is.
Gave me a fucking hug, Kyle. You had to choose that band? Oh, wow. You're going to listen to another July talk record. You fucker.
And there's the other thing, like I'll say, for a lot of people who are, where grunge became the opportunity for a bunch of people who couldn't be Eddie Vedder to do Eddie Vedder impressions. That is not Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell is an excellent singer. I will be clear on that. I'm not making any like whatever. Even if his voice doesn't always resonate with me, especially when he's doing the scream the more screaming voice or the more like heavy voice, he is a very, very good singer. Make no mistake. I will not slag him on that. It's even if it's not to my taste, I am not saying that he's bad. I think that's the thing for most of this, is what made this record so confusing is technically it's really good.
You've got some good musicians here, Kyle.
Like all of the people involved in this are, yes, unequivocally excellent musicians. Sometimes it hit for me, sometimes it didn't. Like a Stone, this is where it really, like this song really connected for me. It was unambiguously my favorite song of the early part of the album. It's a toss-up between, it's one of my two favorite songs on the record, but I quite love Like a Stone.
Like a Stone was the biggest hit I think they've probably ever had. Really great cover that Serge Tankin of System of a Down did with them after his passing that everyone should go and check out because he's also got an incredible voice. Haunting, emotional. I believe the bass player of the band at one point during the recording of this album was trying to figure out what this song was about. And went to Chris and was like, who's the song about? Like, it's obviously about somebody. And he's like, it's not about anybody. It's about waiting to die. And when I heard that story, this song became even heavier for me. And knowing everything about Chris Cornell and all that, like this song always hits. It will always go down as one of his best. Thankfully, I was able to see him perform it live at least one time. Yeah, this is... It's probably going to go down as the best Audioslave song of all time.
I'm glad that's the case. Like this to me was where everything started to click, or at least no. Let me be clear. This was what made this whole thing click. Like this band click for me was like that song felt like this is what it's supposed to be. A lot of this record was not that for me, but I don't want to be a person who's like, this was not a bad record. It was combinations of not my taste and a bit kind of off, but some of it really hit, and I understand. I felt like I understood it better at that
Okay.
point.
All right.
Now, set it off. Let me describe Set It Off. What if you took Dirty Laundry by Don Henley and made it a bit harder? That's basically what you've got here.
Is that all you have to say?
I've said that this one was another one which goes in the clunker chorus camp. So just a chorus.
Set it off. Set it off now, children. Come on, set it off.
Yes.
Look, this is one of the songs on the record that I feel like some of this record. It's interesting that we've talked about it in this detail, but like some of this record felt like it was meant for live performances. You know what I mean?
I think that's fair.
Like,
that is fair.
Do you think like Set It Off would have been one of those ones where you're like, wow, that was great live?
Yeah. I imagine a lot of people were very excited to scream along with the band, like at a concert. I can definitely see that being the vibe. This does feel like this is an album track that you play at the concert to get people to like shout along.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Now, that doesn't mean that I enjoy it on the record, but I understand. Again, a lot of this I understand. Shadow in the Sun was a hard one for me. This guitar work.
I bet you hated the way that song ended.
Oh, yes. Literally, my last note, Cornell screams way too much to end this.
You know why I chose this album, Kyle, is because you gave me that song last month where the guy just screamed to end it, and I'm like,
yes,
ooh, I'm gonna give him Chris Cornell doing this, and I knew what album it was, so that's literally how this happened.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'll be clear. When I picked, because I did want to pick Leave for you because I figured you would enjoy it.
Oh, I loved it.
It's a great song. Don't get me wrong, but what makes that resonate all the more is he doesn't scream like for most of his music.
Fair.
It's the fact that like Leave feels so hard. It sits so hard and it feels so raw because like it's the idea of like if you raise your voice all the time, it gets drowned out. But if you raise it on occasion, now that's not to say again, this was not a Shadow in the Sun is not a bad song, but it kind of floated past me a little bit. I thought the guitar work on it was excellent, and I will say the chorus on this is very good.
Yeah,
which was not my note for most of these, or for like not most, for a lot of these. My notes were always like the lyrics are fine, but then the chorus happens, and it's just sort of like it's a chorus. But yeah, the ending was not
the chorus hit you.
Yeah, the ending was not great, or for me, but the chorus was quite good, and this was some very excellent guitar work.
This is the most Soundgarden song on this record because
that is fair.
Because this is that ending of the song is very Soundgarden.
Yes.
But and again, it's something that like Chris Cornell did not rely on. He knew how to scream, but he did not rely on that. He had a range. I love this song for plenty of reasons, but like I love this song because like obviously the dark brooding emotional stuff of it, but I feel like it's one of the album's hidden gems that didn't get to be a single, and that's fine. But like when I listen to this album, I never skip Shadow on the Sun.
That's fair. I Am the Highway was.
I thought this was going to be your second favorite.
So here's the thing about I Am the Highway. I didn't dislike it, but this was a song that by this point in the record, it blended into a lot of the other stuff that had happened before.
Okay.
I think it just sounded very of its record. I said this in the song later, but I'll make the point now. Is there was a point at which where I felt like there weren't more tricks that were going to work on me. I was wrong about that, but that was a thing about some of the middle portion of this record is it felt like it was, verse, chorus, experimental guitar solo, drop out the music, just to let Chris Cornell sing another chorus and then shouts to end. Like, and all wrapped in about 4.5 minutes. Like, maybe that's unfair. I think this song is probably pretty well remembered, it seems like.
It's very much so, yes.
But probably, if I gave this another listen, I might change
I'm going to send you the acoustic version of Chris Cornell doing this by himself, and if you don't have tears in your eyes by the end of it, I will be shocked.
Okay. I look forward to that. Exploder. Oh, like as soon as I read the word exploder come up on my screen, I was like, oh, I have a feeling. I said, I can't even come close to understanding a word he's saying. This is a hard rock song, but it feels like the Trixton's album have gone. I hated the solo. And then to end it out, why not a yelling scat solo? Throw it in there.
I listened to this album today and I was like, oh, he's going to hate this.
Yes. You are correct, sir. I did not like this song.
Oh, hypnotized Kyle. I have nothing to say about Exploder because it's not one of the ones I look back on fondly on this record, but go ahead. Hypnotize.
To me, this was the, and I'm not surprised. The song's called Hypnotize. This is the weirdest song on the record. I referred to it as parts of it sound like a Sonic the Hedgehog level with Chris Cornell singing over it. For those who played Sonic the Hedgehog back in the day, you can take that as a compliment or an insult. It's kind of both. I like parts of the song, but it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. Again, it is definitely, I will agree with you. It's the weirdest song on the record, probably the most experimental. Let's see what ChatGPT had to say about this one, because dark and moody, simple but effective riff. Chorus sticks if you give it time. Underrated track. So apparently we need to revisit this one.
Okay, I want to make this is my most wrestling point of this entire thing was we get to bring him back alive. First of all, I said the opening was just him yelling "oh," ooh, which is Cornell's tired of writing lyrics at this point. Not like I really encourage them.
This is the Rage Against the Machine song for sure.
Yes. You know what this sounded like? This was an early demo of the Shield theme. That like da 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 that Shield riff, you can find it in there. Go back and listen to this song. This, to me, this is like, I don't even know what to make of this song, but I could not get past the fact that it sounded like the Shield's theme.
Okay.
Which,
okay. All right.
Which this predated the Shield by a solid 10 or like,
fucking 20 years.
Not that long, man. God, we're getting old, man.
That's fair. That's fair. I guess the Shield's been a long time since
the Shield was over a decade ago. The Shield debut was over a decade ago.
Well, this was 2002, so
yes.
It would have been about
a decade before. There's probably about the same amount of time between now and that's gross. Anyway. Light My Way. I don't know what they were trying to do to start this.
Strong riff.
Once the riff starts, I really did like the riff. It did sound a little bit like a generic entrance theme song, but I did enjoy the riff. But I found the wow wow effect of the guitar while Cornell singing annoying rather than interesting. And the chorus for this one goes in the clunker camp.
Oh man, you're gonna have a lot of Chris Cornell fans mad at you at the end of it. Just gonna have a little, but you know what though? I don't have much to say about Light My Way, but I do have a lot to say about Getaway Car, and I got a feeling that is the second favorite song of yours.
Is the second favorite song.
And you know what? It's funny because again, I listened to this album today while I was at work, and I was sitting there, and this song came on, and I was just standing there going like, why do I feel like Kyle's really gonna love this song?
It's on it, like for some reason, I don't know the reason. It's probably just my feelings of hard rock in general. But for some reason, as soon as they slow the tempo to a certain point, the whole thing clicks for me. And Getaway Car it's a toss-up whether or not I like this one more than Like a Stone. I think Like a Stone is probably my favorite, but Getaway Car is a very close second. I quite love this song. And it's not surprising to me that that was like an album track and not a single, but this one I feel like had single potential.
Oh yeah, it definitely I feel like it doesn't feel as big as Like a Stone, but it could have been the next single. Yeah. And you could have really like driven hard that we can be hard, but we can be soft too.
Yeah.
Point. So
Last Remaining Light is a closer. It
felt cinematic.
Yes. But to me, The Last Remaining Light was, for good and bad, everything I've expressed about this record before, kind of encapsulated in the song. It is odd and experimental. It has the weird guitar effects, the production choices. Cornell, I say over singing. People are going to be mad at me for that. That's fine. But again, it's not a bad song, and it clicks with me okay, or it goes with me okay. But it is this was the most out there. Not the most out there in terms of like being experimental and weird, but it's the most like bombastic song, which is, it's a closer, so it's not surprising. But I feel like it is a good way to close the album, but it kind of encapsulated a lot of my feelings about the album, good and bad.
That's fair. Okay, so what are you going to give this album, Kyle?
I have no idea, man. So I'm going to say I will give this album a 3. If you like this kind of music, you don't need me to tell you to listen to it because you've already heard it. If you haven't, let me be the one to introduce you to, did you want to know what it sounds like if Chris Cornell of Soundgarden were to be in charge of Rage of the Machine? You got 3 albums, so you get the chance to do that.
And they keep getting better too. Like they do keep getting better. So
again, there were some weird songs that I did not enjoy, but to say that this was not bad. It was just like I feel very similar to how I felt about the Black Parade when we did that, which was, this is clearly out of my element, but I can't fault anybody who participated in this because they clearly did a good job.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, Kyle, with all that being said, we have reached the end of the show. It is time for us to choose an album for one another to review next month. I
am so torn on this. I am going to save the really difficult listen for another time.
You say that like I'm struggling with any of this. I think you're struggling more than I am.
Oh, it's not a struggle. It's just like, so I've given you a jazz record, which did not go down as badly as I thought it was going to.
Oh,
yeah, but I did give you a jazz record before. I am going to be giving you a weirder jazz record in the future. I have to figure out which of the 5 8-bit big band records I am going to choose for you in the future. The 8-bit big band is a jazz band in New York City that plays jazz covers of video game music. I love their stuff. I haven't decided which of their records I'm going to give you yet, so I'm going to put that off for one more go around.
Okay.
But I did say there was another thing that I alluded to, which is a thing that I love, is Europeans taking a crack at Americana music. I've got a fascinating one for you coming up, which is, I'm torn on, again, this is another band where I was torn on which one to give you. I think I am going to give you Stay Gold. This is, I'm introducing you to First Aid Kit, a folk Americana band of a pair of sisters from Sweden.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What are we doing here?
Yes, we're going out there.
I'm looking through my list like, he'll be able to get through some of this.
But you're getting their I think their second it's their third album, but their second big one, Stay Gold. I was between this and the previous The Lion's Roar because I love them both, but I'm going to give you Stay Gold, the third album of First Aid Kit. Fun story with them when we get to it, how they gain prominence, but I quite like them, and they're kind of weird and folky and rootsy, but hopefully you'll dig some of it. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm going to give you an easy one, Kyle. Jet's first album, Get Born. That is what we're doing next time for you. Do you not like Jet? Like, is there?
It has been no. Jet is one of those bands that is hard, like, because that album I'm looking at released on when I was 13 years old. That was my 13th birthday is when it released.
Perfect.
Yeah, I know. Jet is a hard band to explain because they were so quickly like huge and then immediately forgotten. And it is their
I never forget. I never forget, Kyle.
I know.
Like, next month we've got First Aid Kit and Jet.
All right.
Yes. All right, Kyle. With all that being said, why don't you send the people home who have listened all the way to the end of this podcast home happy?
Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end of this. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and you have been walloped.